Hello, everyone. Today, we're going to witness a moment that is incredibly beautiful, yet heartbreaking. Sometimes, the warmth of human kindness becomes the spark for a brutal tragedy. Betrayed by his own flesh and blood, Toan thought he had lost all faith. But a simple pot of crab hot pot cooked by Thu's mother warmed his heart, bringing back his most cherished memories. Yet happiness is fragile. Just outside that thin wooden door, assassins have the place surrounded. And they aren't using guns, they're using fire to burn it all down. The image of an elderly mother standing trembling amidst a sea of flames to protect her children will bring you to tears. Will a miracle happen? Get your tissues ready. Hit that like button to show your support and subscribe to see the ending of this tear-jerking episode fueled by the flames of hatred. Diem run. They're here. The warning had barely left Toan's lips just as he sketched the first lines of the Cloud City blueprint when something terrible struck. It wasn't a gunshot nor the footsteps of the enemy. It was pain. A massive, excruciating headache like he had never felt before, as if thousands of drills were boring into his skull all at once. Toan clutched his head, letting out a blood-curdling scream that drowned out the howling wind outside. The pen dropped from his hand. The unfinished sketch on the calendar was crumpled in his convulsions. Toan collapsed to the floor, rolling and writhing like a wounded animal. Cold sweat poured off him, soaking his faded shirt. It hurts. It's exploding. My head is exploding. Toan groaned, his eyes rolling back the whites bloodshot. Toan, what's happening to you? Panic. Diem dropped everything and rushed to her husband. She had never seen him in this much pain, not even the night his head was bashed in. She tried to hold him, tried to restrain his hands so he wouldn't hurt himself. Calm down, it's me. I'm taking you to the hospital right now. But in his delirious agony, Toan no longer recognized his wife's voice. Chaotic memories flooded back like a waterfall, crashing into each other inside his brain. He saw the blueprint. He saw his mother laughing. He saw blood. He saw the man in black. He saw Diem crying. Everything was spinning upside down. "Let go, don't touch me, stay away from me," Toan screamed, and in an unconscious reflex of self-defense, he lashed out. Thud. His solid arm swung and hit Diem, sending her flying into the corner of the wall. Diem cried out in pain, her forehead slamming against the table edge, instantly swelling up. But she didn't care about her own pain. She looked at Toan. By now, Toan was clutching his head, curled up like a shrimp. His screams faded, replaced by wheezing breaths. His eyes were glazed, losing focus. The final images flashing before him were no longer clear. They were blurry, like an old, smudged film reel. He saw a white house, a trellis of bougainvillea, a girl in a white dress laughing. Who was she? He didn't know. "Help! Help!" Toan wheezed his last words, then passed out. His body went limp, lying motionless on the cold floor. Toan. Suppressing her pain, Diem crawled to her husband. His breathing was faint, his face white as a sheet. Trembling Diem pulled out her phone. Her hands were slippery with sweat. She swiped the screen several times before she could dial. Thu, help me, it's Toan. He fainted, he's dying, Thu. Diem sobbed into the phone. On the other end, the voice of Thu, their closest friend, and the only one who knew their hideout, rang out, panicked but decisive. "Calm down, I'm nearby. I'm speeding over now. Keep him on his side. Don't let him bite his tongue. I'll be there in 5 minutes." Exactly 5 minutes later, the screech of tires burning rubber echoed outside. Thu rushed in her face, pale, as she saw the chaotic scene. "Oh my God, what happened? Hurry, help me carry him to the car." The two small women summoned all their strength to drag the large unconscious man into Thu's old car. It was still drizzling. Cold raindrops hit Toan's face, but he didn't move a muscle. "Hang in there. Don't leave me." Diem sat in the back, cradling Toan's head, her tears falling onto his gaunt face. The car sped off into the night, leaving behind the rental house and the crumpled blueprint on the floor. The only witness to the moment genius sparked and then was extinguished. At the district hospital, the air in the ER reeked of alcohol and antiseptic. "Doctor, help him! My husband passed out!" Diem screamed as the gurney was wheeled in. Nurses and the doctor on duty immediately swarmed around. Pulses rapid, BP dropping, pupils slightly dilated. Prepare the defibrillator if necessary. Get him to the ICU now. The ER doors slammed shut in front of Diem. The red surgery in progress light clicked on bloody red like the color of that haunting ring. Diem slid down the cold wall, hugging her knees on the cold tile floor. Thu sat down beside her, putting an arm around her friend. "It's going to be okay. Toan is a survivor. If he could survive that horrific accident, he can get through this." Diem shook her head, her eyes hollow. "You don't understand Thu. Just now." He remembered. He was actually drawing, but it was because he remembered that he was in so much pain. "I'm scared. I'm scared the price of his memory is too high. If remembering means he has to die, I'd rather he stay like a child forever." Time dragged on like torture. 1 hour, then 2. Finally, the red light turned off. The ER doors swung open. An elderly doctor stepped out, removing his surgical mask, his face grave. Diem and Thu sprang up and rushed over. "Doctor, how is my husband? Is it a brain hemorrhage?" The doctor looked at Diem, sighing with a hint of relief, though his eyes remained anxious. "He's out of critical danger for now. Don't worry too much. The CT scan shows no new blood clots." "Then why did he have such a severe headache and pass out like that?" Diem asked, her voice still trembling. The doctor signaled for them to follow him to the duty room for a private talk. He pulled out Toan's brain scans, pointing to the old injury site. "Look at this. This is the old trauma from the accident. The nerves here are regenerating. Today, the patient likely encountered a massive trigger that forced the brain into overdrive to retrieve memories." The doctor looked straight into Diem's eyes, his tone serious. "This phenomenon is called memory conflict. It means a flood of old memories rushed back too fast while the brain wasn't ready to process them, causing an overload like a short circuit. I have to warn you, his condition right now is like a ticking time bomb. Extremely fragile." Diem held her breath. "You must absolutely not let him suffer any more psychological shocks. Do not bring up sad events. Do not force him to remember the accident or his enemies or anything negative. If his brain shuts down again, he faces the risk of brain death, or at best, permanent amnesia. He will forget everything. Forget how to speak, and become a vegetable in the truest sense. Diem stumbled back a few steps, gripping the edge of the desk. Permanent amnesia. Forget her completely. So what do I do now, doctor? Use the gentle immersion therapy. The doctor advised, his voice softer. Take him to peaceful places. Places where you two shared happy memories. Positive emotions will help the neurons reconnect smoothly and naturally without pain. Let love heal him, not hatred or fear. Toan was moved to the recovery room. He lay there peaceful, as if in a deep sleep, the pain gone from his face. Diem sat beside him, holding his large but gaunt hand. The doctor's words echoed in her ears. Don't let him be shocked again. Take him to places with happy memories. Toan stirred. His eyes slowly fluttered open. Diem? His voice was hoarse and weak. It's me. I'm here. Diem quickly poured water, dabbing it on his lips. Toan looked at the stark white ceiling, then at Diem. His gaze was unfocused. Where am I? Why is my head so heavy? What happened to me? Diem's heart skipped a beat. She probed cautiously. You don't remember anything. Do you remember what you were drawing earlier? Toan furrowed his brow in thought, then shook his head slightly. Drawing. I don't know how to draw. I just remember. My head hurt really bad. And then I saw you crying. I'm sorry. I made you cry again. He had forgotten. The seizure had wiped away the moment he remembered being an architect. He was back to being the innocent Toan of yesterday. Diem felt both regret and relief. Regret that the clue about the blueprint was lost, but relief that he no longer remembered the enemy or the pain of his mother's betrayal. Forgetting was good. Forgetting meant living. Diem smiled, a twisted but loving smile. She bent down and kissed his forehead. It's okay. You just fainted from exhaustion. The doctor says you're fine. You just need to rest. Maybe go out for some fun to clear your head. Go out. Toan's eyes lit up a little. Where to? Diem looked out the window, where the first rays of dawn were piercing through after the stormy night. We'll go to the place we first met. The place you proposed to me. We'll go find our happiest days again, okay? Yeah. I'll listen to you, as long as you're with me. Toan squeezed Diem's hand, closing his eyes in peace. While Diem was kindling hope for a healing journey, danger was still lurking outside the hospital gates. Thu, Diem's friend, went out to buy porridge. She didn't notice a man in the parking lot, pulling his cap down low, leaning against a motorbike. He held a phone, speaking softly, but with words that would make anyone's skin crawl. Boss, he's not dead. He's at the district hospital. Looks like he lost his memory again. But his wife is planning to take him somewhere. On the other end, the cold voice of the man with the bleeding eye ring rang out. Go anywhere, the farther the better. Tail them. I want to know if those happy memories will trigger the location of the hidden blueprint. Don't kill him yet. Let them lead the way. The man hung up, smirked, and started his engine following Thu's car as it turned back toward the hospital gate. The journey, Diem and Toan's upcoming healing journey, will be anything but peaceful. It will be a trip riddled with traps where every location full of memories could become the scene of a new confrontation. The doctor warned, just one more shock and Toan will lose his memory forever. But the enemy doesn't want him to forget. They want him to remember to get the blueprint. Where will Diem and Toan go? Are these places of fond memories safe? Or are they exactly where the villains have cast their nets? Is this a healing vacation or a fugitive run in disguise? Leaving the hospital as the afternoon sun began to fade, the old car belonging to Thu Toan's childhood best friend rolled slowly along the windy dike road, taking the group away from the noisy town to find a safer hideout. It was Thu's family garden house, hidden behind cool green bamboo hedges, completely isolated from the hustle and bustle and prying eyes. "We're here. Let's get out, buddy." Thu turned off the engine, turning back to pat Toan on the shoulder. Toan stepped out, taking a deep breath. The air here was fresh, smelling faintly of kitchen smoke and straw, so different from the cold, antiseptic smell of the hospital. Thu's house. Toan mumbled, gazing blankly at the ancient three-room house with red tiles. A vague sense of familiarity crept into his heart. He didn't remember exactly how many times he had been here, but his body, his instinct felt safe. Diem helped Toan inside. She hadn't let her guard down yet. Her eyes darted around the garden, checking every bush and hidden corner to see if anyone had followed them. Only when the heavy ironwood gate slammed shut and was securely bolted did she dare to breathe a sigh of relief. "It's safe now." "Diem," Thu reassured her, pouring the couple a cup of hot green tea. "Everyone here is family or neighbors. Strange dogs bark their heads off if an outsider enters. Just rest easy and let Toan recover." Toan sat on the bamboo cot on the porch, lifting the warm cup of tea. The headache had subsided, leaving only a gentle emptiness. The doctor said to take him to places with happy memories, and Thu, his kindred spirit, was the first bridge. I have to go pick up Toan." Thu slapped his forehead. He heard Toan had an accident but couldn't visit yet. He's super anxious. Tonight the boys will gather for a meal. Who knows, maybe seeing the group's comedian again will help Toan remember something fun. About 30 minutes later, the familiar put of a motorbike echoed from the alley. Thu returned, and behind him was Toan, the chubby best friend, with a face that was always beaming arms loaded with bags, big and small. "Mokon, well. Here's our great architect." Toan bellowed the moment he stepped into the courtyard, his boisterous laugh breaking the quiet atmosphere. He rushed over, intending to slap Toan on the shoulder out of habit, but seeing his friend's bewildered eyes and gaunt look, his hand froze in midair. Instead, he gently placed his hand on Toan's shoulder. "What do I look that strange? It's me. Fan, squinty eyes. Don't you remember?" Toan looked at Toan. He narrowed his eyes. This noisy demeanor, this round face. "Fan," Toan uttered unconsciously. "Fan. Squinty. That's right. Oh my God, he remembers my nickname." Toan exclaimed, turning to look at Diem and Thu with pure excitement. "He hasn't forgotten me. He still remembers I'm Squinty." Diem smiled the brightest smile of the day. The doctor was right. Happy memories and sincere friends are the best medicine. No need for expensive drugs, just warm human connection. The three men and diem gathered around the wooden table. The atmosphere began to liven up. Toan pulled some old items out of his bag, a photo of the group from university, a chipped ruler that Toan had once given him. "Hey, remember this ruler? Back then, you were drawing your graduation project, and I accidentally broke it. You chased me all over the campus trying to hit me." Toan held the chipped ruler the corner of his mouth curving up slightly. A natural smile, not forced. He didn't remember the chase clearly, but he felt the joy in that story. Thank you, guys." Toan said, his voice trembling. He felt he wasn't alone. Out there, a mother wanted to kill him. Enemies wanted to rob him. But in here, he had brothers ready to open their arms and protect him. Dusk began to fall. Warm yellow lights were turned on in the wooden house. A difficult question arose. What's for dinner tonight? The group looked at each other. This wasn't just a meal to fill their stomachs. This was a healing feast. The food had to be delicious, cozy, and most importantly, it had to evoke old memories for Toan without causing shock. How about BBQ? Toan suggested. Sizzling meat, a little beer, easy for the guys to talk. Thu shook his head vigorously. No way. Too smoky. Plus, Toan is weak. Greasy BBQ is hard to digest. The doctor said eat something light and easy to swallow. So, chicken porridge, Diem timidly suggested. Toan likes chicken porridge with lotus seeds. Porridge is a bit sad. Thu scratched his head. Today is a happy reunion. Eating porridge feels like we're sick. We need something fun, nutritious, but with a family atmosphere. The group fell into silence again. Normal rice is too bland. A party feast is too noisy. What dish can connect everyone, making Toan feel like he is truly coming home? Toan sat quietly listening to everyone discuss. His stomach started to rumble too. He vaguely remembered. In the past, every time he returned from a long work trip, he always craved something piping hot, steaming, sitting together, slurping. Just as everyone was stuck for ideas, an older woman stepped up from the kitchen. It was Thu's mother. She had a kind face, white hair, tied neatly in a bun, and gentle eyes that sparkled with intelligence. She had been standing there listening to the kids discuss for a while. She walked over to Toan, placing a wrinkled but warm hand on his shoulder. "Toan, you're back, son. You're so thin. It breaks my heart just looking at you." Toan looked up at her. This touch, this voice, why was it so warm? It was completely different from the cold touch and shrieking voice of Mrs. Mai, his birth mother, in those horrific memories. "Auntie." Toan mumbled a greeting. "What are you all debating about?" Thu's mom smiled gently, looking at the group. "The weather is chilly like this, and we have all the brothers and friends here. Why not eat hot pot?" Hot pot. The group chorused. "That's right." She nodded her eyes, nostalgic. "Have you forgotten? Back in the day, every time Toan came back from a long work trip or finished designing a big project, he would run over here and say, 'Mom, I'm craving your crab paste hot pot so much.' He said he traveled the world, ate all kinds of delicacies, but nothing beat a steaming pot of hot pot sitting squeezed together, picking out vegetables and tofu for each other. She looked deep into Toan's eyes. Hot pot isn't just a dish. Hot pot is reunion. All the best, most delicious ingredients blend together in one broth. Just like the bond between you brothers. You might argue, you might be apart, but in the end, you blend together and support each other. I've already prepared the field crabs, water mimosa, and banana blossoms. Let me go down to the kitchen and make you a reunion hot pot. Eat to remember, eat to love. Thu's mother's words were like a warm stream flowing into Toan's barren heart. He suddenly felt a sting in his nose. A blurry image appeared in his mind. A freezing winter night sitting by a bubbling hot pot steam, fogging up his glasses. He was laughing, serving food to diem, clinking glasses with Thu and Fan. Those were his happiest days before he was swept into the vortex of money and dark schemes. Crab paste hot pot. Toan mumbled, his mouth watering, and more importantly, tears welling up in his eyes. I remember. I like eating water mimosa. There, see. Fan slapped his thigh hard. Auntie is number one. Only Mom understands us best. Diem looked at Thu's mother, silently thanking her. Toan had been hurt too deeply by his birth mother, but the love of this friend's mother was slowly healing that wound. A mother not by blood, but who gave him the feeling of family more than anyone else. The group quickly rolled up their sleeves and headed to the kitchen to help Thu's mom. The sound of chopping, washing vegetables, and laughter filled the air. Toan sat in the corner of the kitchen watching everyone. He felt so peaceful. If only time could stop here forever. But life is not a fairy tale. While inside, the wooden house was filled with laughter and the mouth-watering aroma of bubbling crab broth. Outside, not far away, on the tallest tree surrounding the garden, an infrared binocular was pointed straight at the kitchen window. The stalker lowered the binoculars, lifting his phone. Reporting to boss. They are gathering to eat and drink at Thu's house. That fat guy, Toan, is there too. They look very happy, completely off guard. A cold voice from the other end rang out sharp as a razor. Eating and drinking good. Let them have one last full meal. When people are happiest, most joyful, is when they are most careless. Tonight when the party's over, I'll send them a special dessert. Is it ready? Ready. Gasoline and kindling are set around the house. The man hung up, staring at the warm house with cruel eyes. Inside, Diem had just picked a piece of hot tofu for Toan. Toan blew on it, bringing it to his mouth with a happy smile. They had no idea that tonight's reunion hot pot might be their last meal. This safe wooden house was about to turn into a giant fire trap. My dear friends, happiness is fleeting. The moment Toan finds the warmth of family again is the moment death stands right next door. Will this warm hot pot meal help Toan remember something important about the blueprint? And will the group of best friends, Thu Phan Diem, detect the smell of gasoline starting to reek around the house before the flames erupt? The fate of all four people and the kind old mother is hanging by a thread. Smash that like button to warn them and subscribe immediately. The next episode will be a sleepless night. Inferno in the night and the mother's sacrifice.